Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about why we use the AAC device as well as Pecs. So AAC is augmentative and alternative communication. So point blank, it could either be a device, which is higher tech, or it could be a picture exchange. It's all technically augmentative and alternative communication. So I want to explain why we use AAC. I've gotten a lot of questions about when I think it's appropriate to use AAC, and if I think it stops kids from talking as well. So I want to touch base on those things and just give you guys my point of view, my opinion on it. So Chris is in the background. If you guys hear him, he's actually super hyper. I was trying to make another video. I was going to start this course that I got from Harkla with him today. But he's sick, and at this time he's hyper. So I don't know what's going on, but he definitely wouldn't want to do that course with me right now. So instead I'm going to talk to you guys about the AAC device. So first things first. We started on AAC when he was 3, going on 4, I believe. We started fairly quickly, and the reason why we started is because he had no verbal communication. Christian, go tell me what you want on your... Technically you're right, because it's fruit, so I'll give it to you. You give me this one. Here. We started when he was 3, and I want to say the reason why we started is because Christian did not have any vocal sounds. He did not have any vocal imitations. He didn't have any words. Some kids will, he did not. So his main frustration was with communication. He would have a lot of behaviors because we couldn't understand what he wanted. So the best way to help with that is to give children a way to communicate. And for him, it meant using Pecs. So we used pictures in exchange for whatever he wanted to request things. That really helped him a lot. I feel like he took a long time to understand it, but having a way to feel like he's heard really helped him. So that's the reason why Christian started. He started at 3. He's still doing it right now, and he started because he did not have any functional words to communicate. The difference between Pecs, which is Picture Exchange Communication System, and using an actual AAC device is just one is high-tech and one is in pictures. You're literally doing the same thing. With the Pecs, you grab a picture, you give it to the person, and they give you what you want. With the AAC device, you tap on the picture of what you want, and the person will give it to you. It's just a little bit different. Cons I see between the two is for the actual pictures, it's hard to have every picture that you'll ever need, and it's hard to carry it around. You lose it. With the AAC device, it's a lot easier to just add something really quickly. The pros on the picture exchange folder is that Christian, if a kiddo has difficulty with motor planning, it's easy for him to flip through the pages versus when he had his AAC device, he didn't understand how to go to the next folder. That is literally the pro, I feel like, for having a folder. So the main question that I get is, do I feel like it prevents kids from talking? And I always say no. And I feel very strongly about this because when the kiddo has words that they can say, using this is not going to take away from them saying it, or even a person having them say it. It's going to help them when they can't express what they need. So let's say, especially like during behaviors, or if there's just something that you're not understanding, if they're telling you, or if they're, gesturing, if you have a communication device or a communication folder with pictures of things they usually like, it's a lot easier for them to express it that way. And then when they give you it, you could be like, oh, you wanted, let's say, apple. Then you can either have them say ah or say apple, wherever their level is. But you could always also, even like for Christian, if he can't say it, I'll say, oh, you wanted apple. Apple. I model the verbal words, even though I'm not waiting for him to say it because I know that he's not there yet. I'm still modeling the word. So I feel like there isn't a way that this would prevent words. The only time I would not recommend a AAC device is when a child has a lot of functional words and sentences. One thing I notice often is that schools, especially here in Las Vegas, I feel like in general, schools have started using AAC devices a lot. So I'll see a kid going to school, and then speech will recommend an AAC device. And I feel like that, depending on the case, is helpful, but also not helpful because, for example, a kiddo has a lot of words and can speak in sentences, but then going into a new environment, school environment, they might not have those words automatically or sentences. Getting a device would be something that I feel a little bit like confused about, because if they do have all these words and they do have all these sentences, I feel like it'd be better to try to push even 1 word, 2 words. For example, if they're using 4 words with me, but they're new to you and they feel a little bit overwhelmed or whatever, you could start with 1 word, because you do know that they have words. That's just my opinion. But I also, when I think about it, I know that a lot of people say that having AAC access is never bad. For example, if it's a new environment and they are feeling stressed like that, it might be beneficial to have pictures all around the classroom so that if they can't say it, they can hand it to you. But to have all these words at home and in like a different therapy center, and then to be given a communication device to parents, I know can feel a little bit like, what is this about, or like overwhelming, because it's like, what do I work on? So I think it's every case is different, every kiddo is different, and if you as a parent think that you can work on words more, you can definitely say, I don't need an AAC device. But for those kiddos that perhaps don't have any, functional communication, don't have any vocal sounds or word approximations yet, I think it is very, very helpful to incorporate a picture exchange system or an AAC device, because it gives them a way to communicate things that they just can't yet. And a lot of times that is super frustrating. Kids will throw themselves on the floor. Kids will just assume that you know these things. And it's really important to give them some form of communication, whether it be pointing or sign language or a communication device. Any communication is better than no communication, because it can be very, very frustrating to not be heard or understood. So I hope that this helps with the question of whether you think your child needs an AAC device. I feel like if they have some words, it's very, very important to try to get some more words out. You can work on verbal imitation, you can work on sounds, but if you've been trying for a while and just the vocal sounds are not coming out in that moment when they're requesting, you could definitely incorporate Pecs or AAC device. I think it's never hurtful, especially if you're also modeling the verbal word, if you are asking them to say it as well. There's many ways to incorporate practicing vocal words and also using a communication device. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.